Okay, so today we're going to talk about May! Yay! I know May was kind of a short month for comics. I think they only were printing stuff for like 2 weeks. I know there were a few shops that were like, hey, our state's not open yet, we can't sell these. And Diamond was like, sorry, we can't hear you over all this money we're printing. But today, we're not going to go over all that. We're going to talk about a few #1s that I found that were actually pretty dang good. So the first one up is Colin Bunn, and it has a lot of Ridley Scott alien feels. A crew wakes up to this signal going off. It's on this planet, they have no information on it, they have no idea what's over there, but something is screaming treasure and they have to go look at it. As soon as they land, they realize it's actually a graveyard, and things get spooky real quick. Again, lots of alien feels. It even reminds me a little bit of James Stokoe's Alien. The artwork for it is beautiful. It's really intriguing. And I really liked that a main character was kind of just talking about how everybody looks at space in like awe, and that it's beautiful, and that it's mysterious, and nobody realizes how terrifying space actually is. And that like some of the colors are actually unsettling, or some of the landscape will really make your skin crawl, and the monsters in this are pretty dang good. It also reminds me of Bunn's other latest work called Unearthed. Also has to do with the crew, also has to do with like spaceships, spacesuits, like a lot of similar aesthetics, but so far so good. I am gonna wait for the trade on this. I think the only Colin Bunn issues I'm collecting are The Empty Man, another great series, but if you see this around, if you get a chance at it, I recommend it. It's a good space horror read. Okay, so this next one is a classic. It is Robert E. Howard's Conan! Yep, it's Conan Barbarian. It's the original Conan. It is an original Conan. So I picked this one up because I have never read a Conan book before. I know Marvel currently has a few series out. I want to say like 6. It was kind of a lot. Like 1 came out and then there was like 5. And it wasn't just Conan. They had like World of Conan. They had like Black Angus. They had Balit, I believe, and a few other characters with their own series. It was kind of a lot. I didn't know where to start there. I didn't know where to start with the old stuff. I wanted original Conan that was also a little bit updated, and bam, here it is. In this story, Conan escapes a judge. He like stabs a judge, jumps out of a tower, jumps out of a city, lands in a boat, decides he's going to be a pirate, and runs into this other ship that is carrying the Queen of the Black Coast, Balit. Balit and Conan fall in love instantly and decide to take on the rest of the Black Coast themselves. They end up in this strange new land that is known for just like taking down people, but they're tough and they can figure that they can take it on. I really like the colors, I really like the artwork, I really like their use of panels. Like they're really giving it their all over at Ablaze. So how this one is split is they have the new modernized edition, and then they have the original written word after that. It's only $3.99 and it is uncensored. I did see a few people say that they wished it was just like a little naughtier, but for it being from 1934, I thought it was really good. I thought that they were going to make it a little bit more modern in like the language or maybe just like some of the attitude, but they stay pretty faithful to the original work. And I also thought the original work in written word was going to be a little bit more awkward for how old it is for some reason, but it's a good read. It's fun. There were definitely times where I was like, oh, the pacing's a little slow, or like, oh, this is a little cliche, and then again, it dawned on me that this is the original Conan. This is where all the cliches come from. This is where all the tropes are. Like, yeah, it's in this book. And it's not bad. I've already seen another series for it. It was, The People of the Black Coast? The People on the Island? There's a second series, and I already saw another one of his works reprinted and had illustrations. So whoever has the Robert E. Howard license right now is just starting to put out books. So if you wanted to ever get into original Conan, or ever see a more direct depiction of the written Conan, it's right here. So this next one gets pretty ludicrous, and it's called Lunacrats. Like aristocrats, but they're ludicrous, like they're crazy. And that's pretty much the whole premise of this book. The mastermind that did Wicked and Divine and the book Die, Kieran Gillen, is back at it again with his newest, Lunacrats! Yeah, I've said it enough times, right? This book was really, really interesting, okay? I know the colors, the art, it looks really kiddie. I know it looks a little like Scotty Young. It gets real ridiculous. But it also gets really, really brutal. So there's these people called the Lunacrats, and they live life to the most ridiculous, to the point where they are aware that they're in an Image comic and this is some sort of crossover. I don't know if this is the first hint at crossover or what that means, but I really liked this book because it reminded me of Grant Morrison's The Invisibles, where ideas are just out here running rampant, where things don't really make sense, like they're not supposed to. Literally sentences are like just out of control. So the idea is that you have to live ridiculously, and you have to live crazily, and you don't make sense, and things you wear are weird, and maybe you have like a pot on your head. Like, it's just super outrageous, because as soon as things start to get boring, people start dying. So everyone is at this wedding, they're just having the time of their life, everyone's waiting on the Super Pope to show up, and they find out that the Super Pope is now boring. And then all of a sudden the boring police show up, and then the main character realizes, we have to get out of here because they're about to ruin our way of life. I'm really excited to see where this series goes, and I'm also really tempted to pick it up in issues because this book has a lot of really cool extras to it, and I don't know if they're going to capture it in trade or not. Lots of like character designs, but also the extras are like tied into the story, and so like even the book itself is living in the world that it's like written about. It's really meta. It's really free thinking. It's really wild, and again, if there's a sentence you trip over or like read something and then whoa, that doesn't make sense, it is supposed to. That's why they're Lunacrats. Because they're ludicrous. Because it's crazy. Last, but certainly not least, it is something local, which I didn't realize until after I picked it up, which is totally fine. I love zines. I love local work. If I could review local work where everyone, I don't know, that might be a whole video actually. That's a whole other thing. Today we're here to talk about Vicky the Wonderful. Now, for a locally made book, they really tried their darndest to go all out. Sometimes they're a little shorter, sometimes they're a little thin. It's really hard to do zines and comics yourself, and so I was like blown away by like the stock, by the pages they decided to go with, and it feels like a full volume. There's a beginning, middle, and end There's lots of details that could be flushed out and could be easily made into a 12-issue series or a 6-issue series. I'm not trying to push anybody, but it, for the price, for it being handmade, for it just being 2 artists, this felt really sturdy. And was the reason why I was totally fine by giving them a little extra money. I know some people have like a budget when they go in for single issues or single pieces, but this one is like well worth it. It was $15. I know some people think for like, again, homemade zine kind of a lot, but they really went above and beyond with like quality and making sure the quality was there. And I'm guessing getting as close to like the book they actually want. Really, I could see this being a one-off volume from Image, which they're kind of experimenting with. So, but what the heck is this about? It is set in the 1950s. There's this doll company and there are 3 partners, a woman, her ex-husband, and his brother. She wants to bring the next doll to America. She went to Germany, she found this like kind of adult funny prop doll and realized, no, this is the doll I want. I want something a little bit more lifelike, meaning her bust and her waist would be just a little bit more feminine than the dolls that were previously coming out. Not everyone was for this. The other 2 investors kept calling the doll a hussy, and she thinks, no, 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 this is the doll of the future. There's not a lot of people willing to work on her, but there is one man who is willing to design the perfect doll. Lots of Madman feels, really love the setting, and it played mind games really, really well. Again, I feel like this could easily be 6 to 12 issues, with the amount of details and just the turns and the wheels they have you running through. I think it could be longer, easily be longer. Like I said, full beginning, middle, end in here. And I wanted more. As soon as I put it down, I was like, dang, I need more. That needed to be longer. I need more of the visuals. The artwork for it is phenomenal. The artist Ryan Quackenbush has done a few other things that he's left in my shop, but this one really blew my mind. His other books are really great, but they're also really dark in like the colors and settings, and so seeing him have to take on a woman's perspective from the 1950s in a world surrounded by toys, I think he nailed it. He also has a great mix of different media and different textures and different patterns and almost scrapbook. You can tell where there's tape, tell where he cut out things and then layered it over other images. This whole book is wild in its color, its tone, its story, it's mature. Dave Barker did a great job. Quackenbush did a great job. And I want this as a full-blown series. And I think that's it for this round. Really, May was like another month where I only had 4 books. I didn't really see too much from the big 2 that I was like interested in. And even those, I think 2 of 4 of those were like a recommendation, and then 1 of those was a local book, which is fine, which is totally fine. I know that the months ahead, the months to come, are gonna be full of comics, so if I can give my wallet a break, that's totally fine. Last thing I kind of wanted to mention that I thought was really cool and really interesting that had come out, because of the Rona, was from Silver Sprocket. And it's called You Will Be Okay, the Anti-Anxiety Pocketbook. It's a bit of a poem, there's pages to color. If you don't know who Silver Sprocket is, look into it. They have a lot of great stuff. That's another company that has a lot of like zines, a lot of like quick like one-offs or like little books. This little book is pretty dang great though, and you even get to like color inside. There's these cute little like mantras in here that help you with your anxiety. It's just a nice little piece. It's only $5. And in a time like today, could be a neat little gift for someone you know who likes coloring, who's super anxious, who loves zines, and who likes comics. So, and that's it. I'm out of here. I'm done. We're done. I'll see you for June.